You're about to buy your next car. You've worked hard, you've been responsible, and you've saved up enough to do the thing everyone tells you is the smart, grown-up move. Pay for it outright, in cash, and walk away owing nothing. It feels clean. It feels safe. It feels like exactly what a careful person should do. And yet the very principle that turned Warren Buffett from a boy selling chewing gum door to door into one of the richest men who has ever lived suggests that this reflex, paying cash without a second thought, might quietly be costing you far more than the price on the windshield. Most people never even stop to run the numbers. So today I want to show you the move that most people miss, exactly when it is brilliant, and because the internet will never tell you this part honestly. The very real situations in which paying cash truly is the smarter choice after all. By the end, you won't have a slogan. You'll have a way of thinking that the wealthy use on every large purchase they ever make. Let me start with something that might surprise you, because it's important you trust what I'm telling you. Warren Buffett himself is famously frugal. He has lived in the same modest house for decades. He drives ordinary cars, not exotic ones, and he has warned ordinary people, again and again, to stay far away from expensive debt. He once said that if he were borrowing money at the interest rates many people pay on credit cards, he'd never get ahead, and he'd pay that debt off before doing anything else. So if you're expecting me to tell you that Buffett wants you to run up a big loan to look rich, I'm not, and he wouldn't. But here is the twist, and it's the whole point of this video. The engine of his entire fortune is a single idea that most people completely forget the moment they walk onto a car lot. That idea is called opportunity cost. And once you truly understand it, you can never look at just pay cash the same way again. So let me explain opportunity cost the way the wealthy actually think about it, because it's simpler and more powerful than it sounds. Buffett has spoken his whole life about a quiet truth most people never absorb. A dollar is never just a dollar. A dollar is everything that dollar could one day become if you let it work and grow. When he considers spending money, he doesn't only see the price tag in front of him. He sees the future, what that same money could have turned into over 10, 20, 30 years if it had been left alone to compound. To him, spending a dollar today isn't losing a dollar. It's losing the much larger sum that dollar might have grown into. That is the lens. And here's what almost nobody does. They never hold that lens up to the car in front of them. Now watch what happens when we do. Imagine your next car costs $30,000 and you have $30,000 in the bank. Paying cash feels like it cost you $30,000. But through Buffett's lens, that's not the real price. The real price is everything those $30,000 could have become if they had stayed invested in growing while you instead drove them off the lot. If that money, left to compound steadily over many years, could have grown into a far larger sum, then paying cash didn't save you money. It quietly cost you the difference. This is the smarter move most people miss. When a car loan can be had at a genuinely low interest rate, and your cash could reasonably earn more than that rate over time, then keeping your cash invested and borrowing cheaply for the car can leave you meaningfully wealthier years down the road. You let the lender's cheap money buy the car, while your own money stays in the game, working for you. That gap between a low borrowing cost and a higher growth rate is the quiet arbitrage the financially literate have always understood, and the reflexive cash payer never even sees. It sounds almost too clever, so let me immediately give you the other half, because this is exactly where these videos usually lie to you, and I won't. That smarter move only works under specific conditions, and if those conditions aren't met, it flips from brilliant to foolish. First, the loan rate has to genuinely be low. Car loans are not always cheap. Many people, depending on their credit, are offered painfully high rates, and at a high rate, borrowing to invest the difference is a losing game from the start. At those rates, paying cash isn't the mistake. Borrowing is. Second, you have to actually invest the cash you kept, and here's the brutal truth. Most people don't. They tell themselves they'll invest the difference. Then it slowly leaks away into everyday spending, and they end up with both the car loan and nothing to show for the cash. If you won't truly invest it, the entire argument collapses. Third, that invested money can fall in value, especially in the short term. while your loan payment never changes, so you must be able to stomach that risk without panic. And fourth, none of this captures the value of simply sleeping well. For many people, especially anyone on a fixed income, anyone near or in retirement, anyone who would lie awake at night over a debt, being completely free of any loan is worth more than any extra return. Peace of mind is a real return too, and it doesn't show up in a spreadsheet. So notice what's really going on here. The honest answer to, should you pay cash for your car, is not a slogan in either direction. It's a question you have to actually answer for yourself. And the people who build wealth are simply the ones who refuse to decide on autopilot. So before your next car, run through this quietly. What is the actual interest rate I'd be offered? Is it genuinely low or expensive? Could my cash reasonably earn more than that rate over the years, after accounting for risk? Am I truly disciplined enough to invest the money I keep every month without fail? And honestly, how do I feel about carrying debt? Does it free me or does it weigh on me? If the loan is cheap, your cash can grow faster, and you'll truly invest it without losing sleep. Then keeping your money working and financing the car may quietly be the smarter, wealthier path. But if the rate is high, or you won't invest the difference, or debt steals your peace, then paying cash isn't the mistake the internet says it is. It's the wiser move, and Buffett's own frugality would agree. And this brings us to the deeper lesson, the one that's worth far more than any single car decision. What most people miss isn't really cash versus financing. What they miss is that every large purchase in life carries a hidden second price tag, the opportunity cost, and the wealthy have trained themselves to see it while everyone else stares only at the sticker. That habit doesn't stop at cars. It applies to the house, the renovation, the vacation, the upgrade you don't really need. The question that built fortunes is not, can I afford this? It's, what is this money's other future, the one I'm giving up by spending it now? Most people never ask it. They feel rich because they paid cash, or they feel clever because they financed. And either way, they decided by reflex and feeling rather than by clear thinking. The win was never in the answer. The win is in asking the question at all. So here is what I'd leave you with as you think about your next car. The goal is not to always pay cash, and it is certainly not to always borrow. The goal is to do what almost no one at that dealership is doing, to pause, hold up the lens, and see the true cost of the money in your hand, not just what it buys today, but what it could have become. Sometimes that lens will tell you to finance and keep your money working. Sometimes it will tell you just as clearly that being debt-free and at peace is the richest choice of all. Both can be the smart move. What's never smart is choosing without looking. Warren Buffett didn't grow his fortune by always paying cash or by always borrowing. He grew it by relentlessly, on every single decision, asking what each dollar could one day become, and then choosing with his eyes wide open. Bring that one question with you to the lot, and whatever you decide, you will already have done right the thing that quietly separates the people who build wealth from the people who simply spend richest. Nothing here is advice for your exact situation, of course. Your rate, your savings, and your peace of mind are yours to weigh, ideally with someone who knows your full picture. But the question itself, that one belongs to everybody, and it's free,